Our shower drain was clogged. The plumber's hands shook. That was the first sign something wasn't ordinary. He was a thick man, forearms corded, face weathered like someone used to crawling under sinks and hammering rusted bolts loose. Not the type to frighten easy. But when the camera snake reached deep into the drain, his posture shifted. His jaw slackened. His lips trembled as if words wanted out but stayed buried in his throat. Then he whispered, almost as if the house itself might overhear. "Who uses this shower?" I answered without hesitation, "Just my wife." His eyes darted to mine, pale with panic, then back to the monitor. "Sir, you need to leave this house. I'm not kidding." I leaned closer, drawn not by fear, but something sharper, curiosity. The screen showed wet darkness, the glisten of hair, soap residue. Then, wedged between the buildup, something metallic, small, deliberate. He pointed, his finger shaking. "That's not supposed to be there." It took me a second, then clarity struck. A ring. Not hers, not mine. I knew the shape, the engraving. I'd seen it years before. And when the recognition crawled across my chest like ice, I didn't speak. I only stood, thanked the plumber, paid him, and drove straight to my parents' house. That night, I filed for divorce. I hadn't asked her anything. Not yet. Because I already knew the answer. The ring haunted me more than her face did. An old, masculine band, scratched, dulled with age. A detail etched along the inside, initials I'd memorized but forced myself to forget. Not hers, his. A man she'd sworn she'd never see again. A man whose presence in her past had nearly ended us before we even began. She told me she had cut him off. She told me I was paranoid. She told me I was the only one. And I believed her because I wanted to. Now the drain told me otherwise. It wasn't an accident. Rings don't slip into pipes and vanish beneath floors. That meant it was put there, discarded, hidden, but not well enough. She still showered every morning as if nothing rotted beneath her feet, as if the evidence of another man's hand against her skin didn't exist inches below the surface. The betrayal didn't roar in me, it froze me, numbed me. I remembered her smile when she returned late at night, the faint smell of cologne that didn't belong to me, the silence she carried whenever her phone lit up with a message she didn't want me to see. Pieces I had ignored, conveniently, desperately, until the drain spat the truth out in metal. I didn't confront her, not then. Confrontation is emotional, messy, and I don't do messy. Instead, I learned patience. I began with her phone, not physically, not stupidly, I knew better. I learned her habits, her timings, when she showered, when she slept, when she left her devices unguarded. A quiet app, hidden. It mirrored everything. Messages, calls, photos. At night, she slept beside me. At night, her lies poured into my screen. Not just him, others. But he was the constant, the core, the one she circled back to, like gravity pulled her to his orbit no matter how far she drifted. I read their words, words of intimacy, words of plans, words of contempt for me, written in her hand. She called me predictable. She called me boring. She said I would never know. And all the while, she smiled at me across the breakfast table, asking if I wanted more coffee. The storm inside me didn't crackle, it sharpened. I gathered more. Bank records, locations, dates, evenings when she claimed to be at the gym, hotels billed to her card, receipts tucked into her purse. Each detail slid into place like teeth on a gear. I didn't rage. I didn't shout. I built. Because revenge isn't fury, it's architecture. The moment came quietly. A DNA test, discreet, unnecessary for anyone else, but not for me. The child she begged me for, the child I thought was mine. It wasn't. The report came sealed. I opened it alone in my car, parked in a dark lot where no one would see my hands shaking. One page, one result. Probability of paternity, 0. I sat there, silent, breathing slow. Then I went home. She was at the kitchen counter, humming, slicing fruit. She looked up with that same soft smile, as if she hadn't gutted me months ago. I placed the report on the counter. Didn't say a word. She picked it up, scanned it, and her face fractured. The knife in her hand clattered against the board. Her lips parted. I can explain." I raised my hand once, palm out. Not to strike, just to silence. And she did. The silence after was louder than anything she could have said. I didn't rage. I didn't ask why. Instead, I executed what I'd already prepared. 2 envelopes slid across the table. One contained the divorce papers, already signed on my end. The other, a copy of everything I'd collected. Photos, records, messages. The ring itself, sealed in a clear bag. One set for her, one set prepared for his wife. Her hand trembled as she reached for them. "Please don't." My voice was calm, measured. "It's already done." She broke then. The tears came, fast and wild. She begged, she clawed for words, for pity, for some crack in my armor. But there was nothing left to reach. I had already left her. The moment the plumber's screen lit up with that ring, I was gone. All that remained was the performance of my exit, and she was the only audience. Now I sit in my parents' house, my clothes in a bag, my phone buzzing with unanswered calls. She's unraveling. He's ruined. The circle they build out of lies is burning down on top of them both. And me? I feel nothing. Not grief, not anger. Just clarity. People think betrayal feels like fire. They're wrong. It feels like ice. It numbs you until the person you once loved is nothing more than a shadow, a stranger, standing in your kitchen with tears you don't care to wipe away. I don't need closure from her. I don't need explanations. I already have everything I need. The truth, the silence, the power of walking away untouched. She wanted me predictable, boring, blind. But she forgot. Predictable men are the easiest to underestimate. And I don't need to raise my voice to end someone. All I need is the truth. And the truth always finds its way to the surface, even through a clogged drain.